Her eyes went wide at his blunt words, and her lips parted on a gasp. The brush of her breath across his face sent a spear of heat straight through him. Ill-timed desire, as always. But Lynia didn't shove him away as he expected. Her hand softened against her throat, her fingers trailing against the delicate skin there, exactly where he would love to trace his mouth. He needed to step back. Thanks to his temper, he'd already said more than he'd intended. Why wasn't she yelling at him? Had he shocked her that much? This time he had surely gone too far. Lial struggled to gather the scattered fragments of his composure, and he nearly succeeded, until her tongue darted out to trace her lower lip, until he caught the hint of desire sparking in her gaze. Then he made the unbelievably stupid mistake of kissing her.
Before Lynia gleaned his intentions, Lial's mouth captured hers, the bite of their argument echoing between them. But not for long. Within a heartbeat, he gentled the kiss until his lips took hers with a reverent sweetness. Rough, she could have denied. A mistake brought on by anger, but not this. It was as though every brush of his mouth held his heart. The kiss deepened, and he feasted. But he didn't hold. She could free herself with the push of a finger. But in that moment, she didn't want to. The heat stoked by his earlier words surged to life, until she wanted to wrap herself around him and take the kiss even further. If only she'd dared. He nipped her lower lip as though he'd heard, and finally, he touched her. Not with the heat she might have expected, though. He skimmed his knuckle down her cheek and along her jaw, so tenderly he might have been tending a wound. But she wasn't soothed. She'd felt the calming rush of his magic before, and that was the opposite of what she wanted. Before Lynia could process that thought, Lial pulled back. The haunting blue of his eyes sucked her in, though she couldn't begin to untangle the emotions surging within. Then he backed up another step and ran his hand through his fall of auburn hair, the motion breaking their shared gaze. That didn't help her find the path. Apparently, she couldn't untangle her own feelings any better than she could his. Lynia expected him to apologize. Despite his gruffness, he wasn't rude when it mattered. But he rarely lied, either. So she wasn't entirely surprised when he spoke. "I should not have done that, but I cannot claim regret. I hope I didn't cause you distress." "You would have known instantly if I had been unwilling, if that's what concerns you." Lynia twined her fingers together to stop their trembling. "Although, I have to admit to confusion, since you claim to be leaving Braelyn to avoid such a possibility." His nostrils flared. "That was a perfect example of why I must leave. I didn't have a plan, Lynie. My heart called, and I listened. It grows increasingly difficult to resist doing so." For 2 decades, Lynia had feared that she would never enjoy another kiss. Any future moment ruined by comparisons with Telian. But she'd been wrong. She hadn't thought about anyone but Lial when his lips had been on hers. Still, that was a long way from a relationship. "I'm not certain how to move on," Lynia tried to explain. "From Telian, that is. Most of the time, I don't feel so raw. But then it hits, and... no, I don't know how to explain." "I comprehend this more than you realize." Lial stared absently at the books on the table. "More than anyone realizes."